So, you've clicked on this video because you want to know, when does Final Fantasy VII Remake actually get good? Will it ever get good? Well, good news is, I'm going to tell you in this video, so hang about. So, if you've been living under a rock, Final Fantasy VII Remake finally came out last year, 2020, with a PS5 remake coming out this year in June. Whilst the graphics have been vastly improved, there have been various other changes made since the original game was released in 1997, which has left fan opinion divided. However, it would be rude of me not to know that there are still two clear reasons why you need to play this game.
But just this once.
So then, what can I get you?
Now, I've never played the original Final Fantasy VII game. However, I felt the need because of all the love this game gets throughout the years, and you know, FOMO sort of won out, I guess. I needed to play it. So a good reason why you should listen to me is because I was coming into this game with a fresh pair of objective eyes, and the result was surprising. Now, I had seen many reviews of this game and I was expecting to have a blast from the outset. However, this did not happen, and it took me a while to get into this game. Much longer than I expected. I didn't truly get into this game until around chapter 9, which is exactly halfway through my playthrough of about 40 hours long. So now I can understand that many of you are probably thinking, ooh, do I want to spend 20 hours in a game before it gets good? But if you listen to the rest of this video, I can assure you that you'll be enjoying this game far before 20 hours. Now, although at first I thought the graphics were obviously striking and the characters seemed interesting, I didn't like the combat. In fact, I hated it, and I thought it was a shitty version of Kingdom Hearts combat. And this is coming from a Kingdom Hearts fan, by the way. Also, compiling my disappointment was the fact that the game is set in a moody, dark, and dingy gothic world 60% of the time, which really isn't my style. I prefer the vast, dynamic environments and set plays of Uncharted 4, or the Tomb Raider series. So, as you can imagine, running around in sewers wasn't exactly ideal. And these uninspired sewer environments felt especially slow moving at first, when the one thing everyone harps on about being excellent, the combat, just really wasn't my cup of tea. However, oh how wrong I was. Once I realised it was my fault that I wasn't enjoying this game due to my laziness and also just being a bit shit at it in the beginning, lol, the game became all that I imagined it would be. A massive Kingdom Hearts headfuck. I realised that you're meant to use materia and the spells in this game to have any sort of combat success and therefore fun, because who likes fucking barely scraping through fights, only to be reminded, not my best, by Cloud?
Depends. Mind coming over tomorrow night? My roommates should all be out for a while.
Are you seriously that desperate? Just let go already.
Yes, Cloud. Yes, I am that desperate. I just want to be told that I am vaguely decent at combat. Please. I'm really trying my best. Now let me explain to you why this game is so fucking awesome. God, I wish I was still playing it for the first time right now. Most I've felt all year. Right, the characters. The characters are not only some of the best looking characters in video game history. Like, these guys are like, they don't make fucking humans look this good. I honestly think I switched between falling in love with Tifa, Jessie and Aerith about 50 times during my playthrough. You know what? Even the school teacher is up there, but I'd probably just find her attractive because she's secretly a stripper.
Tell the children, okay?
Anyway, moving on. These are some of the best developed characters I've interacted with in years, whether it be Wedge and his lovable rogue humour, Barrett's brawn and big ego, or even just the incredibly clumsy and stupidly gullible Johnny. These characters are so well realised and all serve a purpose in creating a pretty damn entertaining world, even when you're spending time running around those disgusting sewers I mentioned. I have not even touched the surface on my favourite characters, Tifa, Jessie, Aerith, and of course Madame M, but I want you to enjoy those characters for yourself and really appreciate how each personality is unique and how this ends up driving how they act. The combat. Right, so as I mentioned earlier, I was not a fan of the combat to begin with. The thought of having to build up an ATB meter in order to wield a spell or consume a potion seemed too slow paced and tedious to me. However, I quickly realised I was wrong and the fights were really well paced, and that the ATB meter only helped to increase the intensity of each fight. Boss fights in particular were some of the most intense I've played since Persona 5 Royale, although completely different battle systems of course. I think the main reason I struggled with the combat at the start was because I didn't take the time in the beginning to fully understand how the stagger gauge worked and how you needed to know enemy weaknesses and types in order to quickly fill this up so you could perform far greater damage. So my advice is, if you are new to the game, definitely spend the first 20 minutes learning these systems, whether it be in-game or on YouTube. Don't make the same mistake I did. And if you're expecting to be able to button mash like you were in Kingdom Hearts, you can't. You'll just die ridiculously fast. What I will say about the combat though is that maybe a reason why I didn't enjoy it at the beginning too much is because although you have different characters with different fighting styles, which is cool, for example Barrett is the tank, Tifa is used for fast close-up combat, etc., they really don't feel useful until the second half of the game when they are stronger with more materia slots. Overall, I just think the combat could have been given a better tutorial and explained more clearly to get the most out of it, especially early on. Then the player will feel its oh so rewarding battle systems whilst leveling up, as I did not feel this satisfaction for the first 9 chapters, whether that be partly my fault or the game's. Heck, I mean in the original you know the combat inside and out by the end of the first fight, barely 15 minutes in. I do want to make it clear though that by the time I learnt the various battle systems to a good level, I absolutely loved the combat, its variety and the different enemy types. Boss fights were also a real highlight, but be prepared for about 30 phases per boss fight. Lol, these are long ass battles. Right, the cinematics and the story. One thing Final Fantasy VII Remake does have in common with some of my favourite linear story games is the drop-dead gorgeous cutscenes and set plays. They are fantastic, and the weight of each decision made by the player in the story only adds to the tension. If the writers had just left out some of the worst side mission fodder used for story padding, since Assassin's Creed pre-Origins, the story would have been top tier, 9 out of 10 in my opinion.
To say our work here is finished. If you're ever in the market for a Merc again, remember, you can count on Cloud.
So to wrap up this review, posted by someone who never really plays these types of games, my advice to anyone sitting on the fence about purchasing this game or is considering stopping playing because it's not that fun yet, is to go out and buy it and keep playing. It's 100% worth it. And if you were one of the lucky ones able to pick it up for free during I think a recent PS Plus month, then definitely give it a go, you won't regret it. Just learn the damn battle systems, it is for sure worth it. I am now a Final Fantasy fan and I've just picked up the original to play on my Nintendo Switch. And once more I would like to remind you to play just because, oh Tifa.
What'll it be?
I don't know. Something hard and bitter.
Well, most people would say something sweet right about now.
I'm sure they would.
Ah, but you're a more discerning customer, aren't you? In which case... our house special, the Cosmo Canyon.
Beautiful.
I gotta go.
A big shout out to It's Just Ali for doing the awesome cloud image for me with Foster embedded into it. So yeah, she has an awesome YouTube channel. I will link that down below in the description, so go check her out. She also does artwork for commission, so yeah, go check her out.